Hey, welcome to a new video. So today I'm actually going to run through a bunch of questions that you guys sent to me through Instagram. I wanted to do a question and answer session for a while, and I was kind of thinking, like, what's the best approach to doing this? Instead of me sitting down in my office or in front of a car on a chair, I thought I'll take out the GTR for a drive. We're actually at Tatsumi parking area right now, and we'll probably just do a loop of the R9 and get some cool shots of me driving the car and you know, at the same time answering all your questions. So we're gonna jump in and get going. So I actually ended up coming to Japan because my father got sent here for work, and that was back in August 1993, so just over 30 years ago now. So, as you probably noticed, I've been going down to Malaysia and Indonesia and just the general Southeast Asia region quite often. And it's basically because I've kind of enjoyed going there for the last decade and seeing how car culture has evolved. The first few visits, it was obvious that, you know, people were still kind of trying to find a language, a way to do things, taking, of course, inspiration from Japan, but then again, you know, being kind of like restricted with the type of parts that we're able to find locally. So I feel that especially the custom culture has really evolved and become its own thing there. And at the same time, you know, people are really being quite accurate in following what Japan does with everything. And we've seen an evolution that's tremendous. I mean, I reckon some countries and some collections there really rival what we find here in Japan. All right, and speaking of travel, that brings us to our first sponsor of the channel, NordVPN. This is a really good one because we do a lot of traveling on the channel, and through NordVPN I'm able to access the best deals by changing locations, mainly because in Japan obviously prices for hotels and flights are really expensive, so it helps us get the best deals out there when it comes to airfare and hotels. And I've actually been using NordVPN for a while, so I'm kind of stoked that they reached out to us. So as you guys know, NordVPN is really good for getting access to videos and films from other countries, and that really comes in handy here in Japan, where content is kind of limited when it comes to that. So I'm able to check out my favorite programs from around the world and also movies. So NordVPN has actually given me an offer for you guys to take advantage on. I'll pop it up on the screen now. It's nordvpn.com/DinoDC. So you actually get 4 months free when you sign up to a 2-year plan. So on top of that, you even get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's actually pretty cool. With the VPN service, I can actually switch between various countries around the world. And that really comes in handy because, as you know, car culture is not just in Japan, it's all around the world. So believe it or not, but Japan is not the most safest of countries. You know, this is a country that still uses faxes, so they're kind of behind on the whole cybersecurity side of things. And that's another thing that NordVPN really comes in handy for. So if all of this sounds like something you may want to try out, like I mentioned, Nord has given me a link for you guys to check out and get a really cool deal on. So why don't you try it out? And again, a massive thank you to NordVPN for actually being our very first sponsor on the channel. Really grateful for that. Okay, so you know, when you come to Japan, especially Tokyo, there's actually a few interesting places that you can visit with local transport. So the train network here is amazing, and there's a bunch of cool car-related places you can visit in Tokyo as well as Yokohama. We'll actually have a video shortly on that. But you know, places like Super Otobaks, Moon Eyes, Flat 4, of course your local up garages, there's a bunch of them in Tokyo. I suggest you all look for those through you know, Google and find the closest one to you. That's a really good place to go and find used cheap car parts. And just walk around, you know, there's a lot of car-related meets happening, you know, not only Daikoku. You know, so just Google it, see what you can find, and don't be afraid to use public transport. Five-car garage, okay. All right, so, well, that's a tough one. Tough one and an easy one. So I already have one, definitely the GTR. I wouldn't want to live without an R34 in the garage. Ferrari F40, that's my all-time favorite. I probably want something NA and V12, so Pagani Zonda, one of the later evolutions, as long as it's manual. So we're up to 3 now. Definitely a 911, air-cooled, Singer. And I'm a dad, so Toyota Velfire. Need to have space for the kids and the family. So yeah, basically, taking the time to finalize the map. I have my friend Ennio from Italy who works for Motec. He's going to be helping me get the Haltech set up properly and getting the most out of the current mods the car runs. And with that, basically progressing the evolution and, restoration. As things break, I plan to replace them with new ones as long as it's all available through Nissan. But then there's so much exciting stuff happening in the RB26 world and, GTRs in general, that I want to see how that kind of evolves and what needs to be, fitted to the car or not. So I don't think I have a very precise plan. I just want to take it one step at a time, and the most important thing is enjoy it along the way. Well, my idea initially was to basically capture a piece of potential content creation in Japan that wasn't really existent at the time. When I first started photography in the early 2000s, I did it because I was writing articles, but I didn't have somebody to take decent pictures for me. So I decided to jump on that side of things as well, and that progressed to a point where I started doing it, as probably the thing that I liked the most. I mean, I was having more fun shooting than actually writing the stories. And then as Speed Hunters came to be, it all kind of coincided into one and became a photojournalist where pictures and storytelling came together. And I've just progressed that as years kind of went by, refining the craft every way that I saw fit. And why did I not join the corporate side of automotive world? Well, I have had a bit of experience on that side of things, and it's just too boring. Nothing really happens. You're not part of the creative kind of process, and it's just not fulfilling for me especially. I need to be out there, getting one-on-one with cars and enjoying them as much as I can, and of course shooting them and capturing them in various backgrounds. Easy one, McLaren F1, possibly the long tail version. I think Japan has changed so much since I originally moved here, but the whole living process hasn't. There's still a lot of rules and a lot of things that you have to do, a lot of steps and processes that really haven't changed all that much in the last 30 years. A lot of stuff could be digital, but they prefer to do everything with paperwork and lots of steps. So you find yourself having to kind of have a little part-time job just to be able to live in Japan. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating at times. But then again, at the end of the day, we are guests here. We will never be part of the population as any other Japanese citizen would be. They've made that very clear in the way they handle immigration here. So you just have to take it as it comes. You have to be, that long-term visitor and kind of deal with the ups and downs of, living that kind of life. No money limit R34 GTR. Well, since no money limit, I guess I would have to probably choose 3 GTRs. One would be a very high response build, kind of like what Mainz has always been famous for. I think the RB26 it responds really well to that kind of tuning. You kind of get that race bred kind of essence to really come out and shine. I would go for a very high powered street drag type setup, and I would definitely get somebody in Australia to build it for me, because I think with the high power side of things, Australia is on another planet, and they've done that so well and continue to do amazing stuff. And the fourth, probably Nismo, because a factory tuned car like what Nissan and Nismo have created over the last couple of decades is what everybody seems to want these days. There's a kind of purity in it, and I would love to have one of each to kind of make sense. Well, you know, in today's day and age, I think it's very difficult. There's a lot of competition, but at the same time, you have so many tools at your disposal for getting yourself out there. So, you know, the best approach is to create a lot of content, never stop, get it out there as much as you can, and then, you know, just hit up people, hit up publications, you know, companies, see if they want to work with you, and, you know, it never really hurts to ask, so never be afraid to do that. I think from the golden era, you know, the first name that comes to mind is Velside. I think they were probably the first out there to push limits. You know, starting with the L series engine, that's pretty much the first, you know, type of cars they got involved with, and then, you know, evolving throughout the 90s in the 0-300 runs at Yatabe, the drag cars that they built, and then of course the high-speed stuff, you know, like the speed run they did in New Zealand. That, and I think Garage Source has always been a big name for me, ever since visiting their shop, talking to Hayashi-san, and seeing the builds they create. I've always put them at a very high kind of pedestal, because I think they have crafted RB tuning similar to what Australians have done with the drag scene and the drag RB kind of way. They've done it here in Japan, and I think they stand out for that. Yeah, of course, you can drop by any track day that you kind of see happening. I think the most important thing is to actually find out what track days are happening on what day. So best way to do that is when you get to Japan, go find an option magazine and check out the schedule that they have in the middle of the magazines. And if you're lucky, they should have a few remaining days for the time you're there, and you can find out if something's happening at Tsukuba or Fuji Speedway or other tracks that are local. So Speed Hunters came to be in middle of 2008. We didn't launch until September or so. And the whole idea was basically for EA. If you didn't know, Speed Hunters is owned by Electronic Arts. It was for EA to create an online presence for players of the Need for Speed game, and, you know, try to show what was happening in global car culture, and at the same time help the game designers to you know, make sure they chose and created cars in the game that would relate to what was happening in the scene globally. So be it car selection, you know, the right kind of brands, the right kind of styles. We were basically there to help things along, and initially that's what we did, but of course it evolved and it became its own entity and kind of the place to visit online in that specific time period. What is my favorite drive in the R34? Well, definitely not this. We're currently doing 20 kilometers an hour on the Bayshore, the one gun. Not fun. So what I do for fun is I'll get up extremely early on, say, a Saturday morning, and I mean really early, like 3:30, 4 a.m. And I cruise down to the Hakone Turnpike. I try to save a lot of gas and drive on the speed limit, so when I get there I have a lot of fuel. And then I hit up the turnpike and I go down to Izu Skyline and I go up and down until I run out of fuel. I think it's the most fun anybody with a sports car can have in Tokyo. It's close by, and the views are amazing, so you can stop and grab a bunch of cool pictures while you're at it. Okay, top 5. I don't know if I can do 5, that's a lot. I'll do a couple. I think one of the most memorable is when me and Rod Chong went to Pagani in Italy, and we were welcomed with open arms. We got to meet Mr. Pagani, and you know, we saw how the whole operation was laid out. We saw cars being built, carbon fiber being made, and then they threw me the keys to a then very new Huayra and gave me a couple of hours to drive it on track. So You know, nothing has really ever come that close. Also, when we went to Gattabil, experiencing you know, the car culture in Northern Europe, Scandinavian countries, that kind of blew me away because I wasn't really aware that so much cool stuff was being built. Scandinavians are crazy in a very right kind of way. And again, I think the first time I visited Australia to kind of experience that drag scene there and the whole fixation that Australians have with high power. I think best shop would probably need to be Pan Speed. I think Pan Speed is one of those shops that kind of oozes an atmosphere where you'll step inside the workshop and you'll know exactly what these guys do and what they've been doing for, you know, decades. You know, you go in there and you see engines being built, you see like stacks of rotor housings just all over, and you can just tell that, you know, they're masters of their craft and they've been doing amazing builds for years. And I'm a big fan of their style when it comes to FD tuning or FC tuning. So that would definitely be my favorite. All right, best season to come to Japan will have to be January. Tokyo Auto Salon, of course, lots of other events happening around that weekend, and all the underground meets that are kind of organized for all the tourists that come over to Japan to kind of give that Tokyo underground Fast and Furious vibe. Okay, so I think one other car I would love to own and play around with would definitely be an FD-RX-7. I don't think anybody has experienced, you know, car and car tuning unless you've owned a rotary and played around with one. So definitely an FD, possibly bridge ported, possibly with a big turbo and a sequential. So of all places, I actually ended up ending this video here in Akihabara. I thought it would be the perfect venue in a very warm December day to kind of take the last few shots of the car. And you know, I really want to thank you for sending in all the questions that we answered in today's video. I'll be answering more questions on Patreon. That's another platform you can support me on. And you know, for those that have done so far, a big thank you. It really helps me bring more content to you guys. I actually noticed that a lot of you don't actually subscribe. You'll be checking out my content, but you don't subscribe. So please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help a lot, you know, to get my videos out there. And you know, do let me know if you want to hear kind of more about me, if you want to do more of these kind of question and answer videos. If so, you know, I'll be allowing you guys to hit me up with more questions on Instagram, and we can do another video. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this one, and check back soon for more.